in the place. Da-na-na-na, Mac and Perry.
Go live to create.
Da-na-na-na, Mac and Perry invite you to stay.
Welcome to Tell a Story Hive on location here in Red Deer at Bella Chow's Social House. I'm Michael. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability. And this is my co-host,
Daniel J. Perryman, a local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta. And today we are joined by...
Beverley Beckley.
Great, yeah.
The broken poet.
The broken poet, great, yeah. I'm excited to learn about that specifically, but yeah, we're excited to have you here and to chat about your artistic practice and get to know you a bit and have a great conversation. So yeah, our first segment is we call the icebreaker segment, and it's about 15 minutes long. And yeah, we just get to know you and we chat and we play some little games, and so it'll be fun. So the first thing we do is we have a little bit of trivia. How are you at Red Deer trivia specifically?
Ooh, I should be good, but...
Yeah, well, they're very simple questions, very easy questions.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm going to choose this one today. I did it before, but Red Deer actually has an official cookie, apparently, according to their City of Red Deer website. And so it's A, B, C, or D, don't worry. But what is the official cookie of Red Deer? Is it A, the lemon crinkle, B, caramel surprise, C, red velvet, or D, salted butterscotch chocolate chunk cookie?
You know, being a cookie aficionado, I should really know this, but I absolutely have no idea. The caramel?
Yes, you were right. Caramel surprise. Yeah. Yeah, it was on their website, so it is official. This is not just something I did Google it, but yeah, apparently it was in the 1996, mid-90s. They had this contest, and to have the official cookie, and actually the winning recipe was from Darlene Blair of Trochu, Alberta. So it's on the website. Check it out. It's official.
Wow.
Caramel surprise. So
That's
have one of
a
those,
guess.
right? They're delicious. Yeah.
I like caramels. So.
There we go. And so, yeah, so now we're going to we got a couple of trivia questions about us for each other. So maybe I'll have you ask Daniel the trivia question about me. Why not? Or, yeah, that one works too. That one's about him, about me. So now you can ask me.
Okay.
Okay.
Performing poetry, be it on the sidewalk for a community event or local store, holds a special place in my heart. Daniel has performed his own poetry at the Tell It How It Is poetry rights at the Owl Acoustic Lounge in Lethbridge. Approximately how many times?
A, B, C, or D? Is there options?
Yes.
Oh, good.
So A, once,
Yeah.
B, twice, C, 3 times, or D, 5 times.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like he could perform poetry quite a bit, you know. I know he likes poetry, he loves Shakespeare, sonnets, and he likes the owl well enough, I'm sure. I feel like I'm gonna go high on this one. Was 5 the highest?
5 times.
Let's do 5. Oh, what was it?
It was C, 3.
Pretty close, 3. Okay, all right, no worries. Great. All right, so now we have another piece of Red Deer trivia that Daniel is going to ask you about Red Deer.
All right. My piece of trivia for you is this. Red Deer was home to one of the first dairy condenseries in Western Canada. But what was it called? A, Alpha Dairy, B, Beta Dairy, C, Gamma Dairy, or D, Delta Dairy?
Well, I'm going to say it's A, Alpha Dairy.
That is correct. Nicely done.
The smokestack still rises above the city, sort of.
Nice.
As you come into Gates Avenue.
Yeah,
Nice.
thanks.
Good stuff. Good job. 2 for 2. All right, we've got one more trivia question. Now this one is about me for Daniel. You'll be asking him
All right.
something about me. We'll see if he gets it right.
Okay. So my artistic practice includes performing poetry and sometimes improvising poetry on the spot. Michael has done several improvisational theater performances. Where did he last perform improv then? A, at the Lethbridge Public Library, B, at Good Times Comedy Club, C, at CASA, D, at the Banff Centre for the Arts for Science Performance.
I feel like it's either Banff or the Good Times Comedy Club, and I'm gonna go with B, but I'm doubting it. B, Good Times Comedy Club?
It was C, at CASA.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. I was completely off the mark.
It's fair. Good Times Comedy Club in Lethbridge. They do a lot of improv. They do monthly drop-in improv
Yeah.
performances. But that was at CASA with New West Theatre. They did a performance there, so got them that time. Good. All right. So our next game for our icebreakers, we call it This or That. It's very simple. We just have this hat that we brought with us, and it's got questions with 2 different things on them. So it might be, coffee or tea, and then I will ask you, do you like coffee or do you like tea, or whatever, and we'll ask all each other and just see what we like and get to know each other a bit. So I will have you pull out the first piece of paper. Yeah, you don't have to look. You can't really tell.
Okay, sweet or salty?
Yeah, I'll answer first, I guess. So yeah, I would say if I had to choose, I'd probably go for sweet. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I usually like something like a little sweet, like maybe after dinner have some chocolate or something. So I would say I could probably go for more sweet than salty overall. How about you? What do you like, sweet or salty?
That's a tough one. I'd like to put them together.
Yeah, there we go.
So I don't have to choose.
There we go. Some caramel, savory caramel surprise cookies.
Salted caramel.
There we go, yeah. How about you, Daniel? Do you like sweet or salty?
I think generally I would go salty, just because I think it also matches my personality a little bit. So there we go.
A salty dog.
Yeah, nice, good stuff. All right, so I will pull one out of the hat, and then let's see what we get. Okay, this is to do with driving. If you drive, stick or automatic?
Automatic.
Yeah, automatic. Can be.
Automatic for a while now.
Yeah. For myself, I drive a stick. I've got a Honda Civic, and my first vehicle was a 1984 Jeep Cherokee. It was a manual transmission, and learned to drive that. And I do see the advantages. I really like driving a manual.
It's easier to eat a hamburger and drive with an automatic.
That is true. I have not done that in a while, so that's true. I guess I could drive an automatic while eating a hamburger. How about you, Daniel? Stick or automatic?
I would have to go automatic. It's what I learned in, and it's all I know. So I'll stick to my lane and go with that.
There we go. Yeah, eat a hamburger while you're doing it. Great. All right, let's have you pick one out of the hat.
Build it or buy it?
Good question. Yes. I generally like to build a lot of things. I'm a fairly handy person. Like whenever I can, I try to build something. I especially like it because I sometimes can like modify things or make things unique or to fit. Sometimes when you're buying things, then like you have to go with what they manufactured or buy a certain accessory. But so I think I like to build it. I like the process of building and the creativity that goes into it. So yeah, how about yourself? Do you like to build something or buy something, given the choice?
Usually if I buy it, I have to end up building it, like if it's a table.
Oh yeah,
or
sure.
something.
Yes, it
You have
could
to
be.
put these things together, but I would prefer it came put together.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I guess if you get some furniture and stuff, you just gotta.
Yeah, no
put it
good at
together.
that.
Yeah.
Directions are badly written.
Yeah, right. Just images and it's tricky. How about yourself, Daniel? Build it or buy it?
I would love to say build it, but I know myself fairly well at this point, and I feel like more often than not, I end up buying it, and so I will own that truth. Yes.
Yeah, hey, there's no wrong answers. We're just finding out about each other, so all good. I guess we can do one more this or that. So I think it's your turn to pull one out of the hat.
New or familiar?
I would say, as much as I'd like to say new and exciting, I think probably I would lean towards familiar. Kind of have a routine, and I like to do similar things day to day and eat a lot of the same things. And as much as I like to try new things, I'd probably go for familiar, if I'm being honest. How about yourself?
I like to try new things.
Yeah, fair,
All
yeah.
the time. New restaurants, new bars.
There we go. What was the last new thing you tried?
I think it was right here.
Yeah, at Bella Chow's
At Bella
in
Chow's
Red Deer.
in Red
Yeah,
Deer.
yeah. Good stuff. Nice. Hey, Daniel, how about you? Do you like new or familiar?
I think I would go with familiar. Took me a second there, but yeah, I like my habits and stuff, and I think I am a creature of comfort, so I'd go familiar.
There we go. Yeah, again, no wrong answers. We're just finding out. I guess we can move on to our Tumbling Towers game to finish off. So have you played this Tumbling Towers game? It goes by a different name. We can't necessarily say.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm bad at that.
Yeah, it's all good. So this is this tower here of blocks, and we have numbers corresponding to them. They have just questions, open-ended questions, like what's your perfect day look like? And yeah, with this, you just like can poke around, and if you find a loose tile like this lovely one, you can pull it out and then you put it on top. Technically, you can't pull from the first three. We're not super picky, but we mostly just want to keep it upright is the main thing. Yeah, and same thing as the other one. We're gonna go, answer each other. We're all gonna answer the question. So I will let you go first. Poke around and see.
Ooh, that one,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
go
you can
for
take
one.
that. Yeah, I loosened that one up for you. Number 12. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so what's a common thing? Maybe that's like a normal common thing that you haven't done yet, or maybe you've never flown. I know you have, but or changed a tire, or I don't know. Like, is there anything that comes to mind that's like
Oh no,
everyone does
I
that?
haven't changed a tire.
No, yeah, okay.
Not ever.
Yeah.
No, I'm just panicked to call the MA or call a friend.
Fair. That may not be a common thing as much anymore, but yeah. So, anything else come to mind that you just
Help us by the roadside.
yeah, haven't done or don't do?
Oh, there's been this going on Facebook, and I've been checking off all the things I've done,
Yeah.
flown in a bunch of different things, and
Okay.
I haven't been across Canada.
Okay, that's like a common.
So I haven't been down. Well, I've been down east, but I flew, and I was
Sure.
only there briefly. But what I'd really like to do is kind of just travel right across and see everything on the way. Yeah, not sure how to do that yet.
Yeah.
Maybe a tour.
There we go. Yeah, some poetry.
But I'd really like to go to places like Halifax, PEI. So I haven't seen Eastern Canada much at all.
Okay, yeah, that'll be a great trip. That's a great answer. Yeah, I think that's a pretty common thing. If people have lived or visited here, a lot of people, yeah, that cross Canada trip is very iconic, and yeah, actually
Bucket list.
Bucket list. There we go. I love it. I won't steal your answer. I haven't done that yet either. Something common that I haven't done or that I don't do. Oh boy, I will have to think about this. I'm gonna throw it over to Daniel if he's had time to think about this more than me. Even though we've had this question before. Hey, Daniel, what's a common thing you maybe haven't done yet?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know if this is a super common thing, but the thing that came to mind first was just like, do people get like custom running shoes? I've been getting into running, and I feel like people who run often eventually they will get like, their own pair of running shoes. I don't know if that's a super common thing, but I haven't done that yet, and I've been getting into running. So that's gonna have to be my answer, as random as that might be. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think that put me on the spot. I asked the question. I don't know about the running shoes thing, but yeah, I guess you could get customized running shoes, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that'd be if you were into running, that'd be a common enough thing, I suppose. Yeah. Well, now I need to answer that question, and sooner rather than later. What's a common thing that I haven't done that's lately? Boy, this may fill the full 15 minutes of talking.
How about, when's the last time you shaved?
Yeah, I guess true. We'll go with that. Most people shave. Most people shave during the day, during the week. Yeah, I haven't shaved in a decade, so sure. I guess that will be a thing that's pretty common that people do that I just haven't had to do for a while. That'll be my answer forever now. Good. All right.
I heard it's not fun. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like shaving my legs.
There we go. Yeah, right.
Men don't like shaving their beards.
Yeah, it's a work. So good. That'll be my answer. All right, I'm gonna pick one now. Oh, this one in the middle is loose.
Woo.
Nice. Number 31. 31. If it was an option, would you vacation in space?
Ooh, I've been thinking about that a lot lately since Artemis went up. If they passed me physically to do it, I think I would.
Yeah?
Yeah, if I was able to physically do it.
Yeah. What interests you about going to space?
Just that whole, what they've been talking about, the whole perspective of seeing the planet from out there and feel how it changes how you feel, like William Shatner said. So how you feel about Earth.
Yeah, maybe make you appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how fragile everything is, I guess.
Yeah,
it's life-changing, apparently.
That was why the first Earth Day started, actually, back in the day, in the 60s, was they saw that image of Earth from space, and they thought, wow, yeah, that's great. That would be I'm sure, a very memorable trip for sure. Yeah. How about yourself, Daniel? If it was an option? Would you vacation in space?
I think that I would. Again, yeah, if I was able and if it was feasible and within my budget, I would definitely do it at least once. And yeah, see what that view is like. And I feel like there would be, if it were more of a feasible thing, I think there would be a sort of community around it, and just to be a part of that. Maybe it's a movement behind it of, yeah, just that changing people's perspective on how fragile our reality is here. I think that would be super special to be a part of. So I would say yes.
Nice.
How about you, Michael?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I think I probably would for those reasons too. I would just want to see the Earth from far away, just as for that experience. And yeah, I know I was reading one book recently about exploration, and it was from an astrophysicist, and he talked about space travel and how like now it's like, if you imagine like flying in a plane, it's like if they got a new plane every time they flew, like it's very, very cost prohibitive and very wasteful. So he was like trying to move towards more like using rockets more than once, and so it would make it a little cheaper. So yeah, I think if it was, I guess, economical and less environmentally impactful, why not? I would go to space. Nice. All right, we got time for about one more Jenga block. So yeah, maybe do the honors, Beverly. You can pick one more. It won't fall. It happened yesterday. It was Daniel.
I don't know.
Yeah, and poke around. You don't have to pull the first
Oh,
one.
there we go.
There we go. The middle usually works pretty well. Number 7.
7.
All right. Kind of related to the last thing I said. So what are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now?
Or something that came up that, and I don't want to throw you on the spot, even though that's what I just did. Yeah, if you want to think about it, we can answer first.
I'm trying to get a hold of a book to read, but I'm actually reading my own stuff as a kind of pre-editing process.
Okay.
Because I've got this book that the plan is to send stuff out in the next couple of months to publishers. So I'm reading my own stuff, but I have a friend who has a book out, and she's got it out electronically, and I'm trying to find a format where I can get a hold of it.
Okay, nice, yeah.
And that will be the next thing on my list to read.
Good, your friend's book. And that makes sense if you're busy reading, edits of your book, that you may not have capacity to read other people's books. Makes sense.
Yeah, once you get into that editing process and you're going through your pages, it's
a lot of mental capacity. Yeah. Good stuff.
Otherwise, I'm reading Facebook, doing something
right?
like that.
Yeah. No, can't make time for that sort of stuff. Yeah. I'll throw it over to Daniel. Why not? Hey, Daniel, reading anything right now?
I am procrastinating reading something, which I hope is relatable for people. It's called Into the Wilderness by Brené Brown. I love Brené Brown's work, and I should really just dig in and start. But yeah, it's next to my bed right now, and I should get on that. I'll use this as accountability tool to do that.
Good.
How about you, Mike?
I hope this question comes up again on our trip, and he'll have read half of it. Yeah. So we're on the road. We're traveling for about a week, and so I always try to bring a book with me. And I was at the library. I just picked up kind of a somewhat random book. It's called With the End in Sight. It's about death and dying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and all about that. It's from a physician who works in palliative care. So I've gotten into that. It's quite the read, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Great. Well, I think ending on that happy note, that is all the time we have for this segment. This has been Tell a Story Hives on location in Red Deer here at Bella Chow's Social Club. I'm Michael. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability, and this is my co-host,
Daniel J. Perryman, a local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta, and this is
Beverley Beckley, the broken poet from Red Deer.
There we go. All right, we will be right back. Welcome to Tell a Story Hive's on location here in Red Deer at Billachow's Social Club. I'm Michael. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability. And this is my co-host,
Daniel J. Perryman, a local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta. And this is...
Beverley Beckley.
Great, yeah. So Beverly, yeah, I enjoyed our little icebreaker segment, getting to know you and finding out about all about your stuff, what's going on, and each other, and yeah, it's been fun, yeah. And I'm looking forward to that trip across Canada. We'll maybe learn more about that. But yeah, we call this kind of the interview segment, and with that, we would like to talk to artists about their kind of their creative journey as far as where they've been and maybe some highlights or milestones, and kind of try to go through that a little bit as much as we can. So yeah, maybe just from the very top, maybe you can just tell me what is your artistic practice? What do you do?
I write poetry and fiction.
Great, yeah.
I did nonfiction as well. I wrote for newspapers and things like that
back in the day, hey?
So yeah, I've done some journalistic stuff.
Okay, but mostly poetry right now.
Feature articles. I did musical reviews, so I would review a band that was playing locally in my own publication. So.
Oh, nice, great, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to learning more about this. Yeah, but maybe if we go all the way back of when you were young, maybe when did you first start making art when you were a young person?
Oh, I think I was about maybe 5, 6, and I was drawing something a little bit more than a stick figure. And my mom would staple together, or my grandma would staple together a little pamphlet for me, and I'd fill the pages with my own drawings, and then I would caption them. So I was kind of making my own little comic, but I was quite young. And then when I went to school, I guess a really big serious writing thing that I did there was enter the Cadbury's contest and talk about the chocolate bar, which I ate a lot of chocolate at the time. And so I wrote in that. It was a contest, and I won.
Oh.
And so I won it for our school, and so they sent me the certificate to the school, and I think I absolutely still have it in my files. So certificate. Cadbury's did this contest in England every year, so school kids from all over the country entered.
Oh, neat. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. And how old would you have been?
8 years.
8. Okay, so pretty young. Yeah. And you had to. What did you have to write a piece?
Kind of a little essay about the chocolate.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was about? I mean, it's a long time. No. Yeah.
None at all.
Yeah. But you won. That's exciting. Yeah.
My mom kind of said, "You like chocolate? It's Cadbury's. You should probably enter that."
Yeah. And then you got a little certificate. You said or something?
I did. Yes.
Did you get any? You got some chocolate out of it?
I think I did.
Yeah, you might have.
They sent me a big bar of chocolate to go with that.
Oh,
it was not quite winning your way into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but it was close.
Close enough, yeah. That's that's your first award. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah.
Your first writing.
Haven't really won anything since.
Well, yeah. All right, we'll work on that. Yeah,
I'm working on it still.
And you said that it's so you grew up in England.
Yeah.
And so that was had that contest been going on a long time? Is that
I think so. Yeah.
Is it still going on?
I don't know, actually.
Let's hope it is. I don't know. That seems fun. Yeah, very Willy Wonka.
Google Cadbury's and find out.
Yeah, I love it.
With school kids.
Oh, that's a fun little thing. That's great. Yeah, so you were 8 or so, and
yeah.
Well, I guess maybe kind of what came next in your artistic career after the Cadbury chocolate.
Just writing my little poems and making my own little books up for my friends and for my parents to look at.
And so you were writing some poetry even back then?
Yeah. Most of it iambic pentameter at the time, so I was rhyming fairly. As a kid, you pick up on things like nursery rhymes and sounds that rhyme. So.
That was a very early thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know, in high school, you took a creative writing course, but that was at Red Deer College. That would have been. You moved to Canada. When did you move to Canada?
In 72.
72. And you would have been a teenager, or?
Yeah, I was about 12.
12. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And so you're in high school. I'm talking about this creative writing course that you would have taken then.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the instructor's name, but
that's okay.
He's quite a fairly famous writer, I think he was, locally anyway.
Yeah.
And I met quite a few people, and I think really got me the fever for writing professionally because people, basically what we did was write every week, whether it's either on a specific theme or one of our own choice. And then come back and read it in the circle, and then everybody would kind of comment on the piece, and it was feedback from peers kind of thing. So it was really enjoyable. So I kind of decided I needed to go further with it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And tell me more about this course. Like it's at the Red Deer College, so there would have been like it's like a college level course or a continuing education kind
Yeah,
of course.
kind of
Yeah.
continuing education for all ages. So
Yeah.
there's all different kinds of people at different stages of writing.
Okay. And how was that for you? If you remember, like being a high school student, going to Red Deer College and being at this course, maybe older adults and stuff. Yeah. How was that experience for you?
It was very cool to see what people were doing locally, and in fact, I remember one gal specifically who writes mystery, crime, still to this day.
Okay.
So yeah, she had a very unique name too.
Oh, do you remember her name?
Sparkle Hater.
Sparkle Hater. She's out there. Yeah, yeah.
I think she's in Edmonton or Calgary. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but I know she's still writing, so she's
Okay.
publishing. So
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. So something you made some connections at that workshop or course.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah. And so you said you signed up for that as a high school student to take writing a bit more seriously. Like, yeah. Do you remember at that time taking that course? Maybe like how that might have influenced your writing practice?
I think when you're taking a course like that, you're feeling that you have to produce something every week because you want to have something new for people to read. Or if you're doing, some of the people were continuing longer pieces, and so everybody's waiting for the next section or the next chapter or whatever it may be. And so it keeps you writing. It gives you that impetus to keep going. You can't kind of say, "Oh, I'm not writing this week." Oh, I have to because I have to have something to read. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And how long was that course roughly?
I think it was about 6 or 8 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you had like 6 or 8 pieces you had to put together,
Yeah.
and yeah. And were you like you said there was some feedback, so you were like reading them to each other, or just read? Or
Yeah, we would read to each other. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We usually had time to go around, and somebody would read a portion of their work each week.
Nice. That sounds lovely. Yeah. Great. Yeah. And so you took that course in high school, and I guess like what would have come next in your artistic journey?
Well, after the course, I continued to write and took my English courses in high school and took the opportunity there to study poetry and to write poetry and fiction as much as possible.
Yeah. And I know like on your website, hopefully I have the timeline right, but you said like you ordinary life kind of intervened maybe after that period. Is that right?
Well, you graduate from high school and then you got to get a job and you want to get your own place. And so you kind of do those things because you're not making a living as a writer at this point in time. So, so just working and trying to figure out what's next, meeting a partner, getting married, all those kind of intervening things, having kids and stuff. But,
yeah, and like how long of a period are we talking about here of life intervening?
About 40 years, probably.
40 years, okay, all right.
When I was married for the second time, last time, we were living in Macomb, and so I found it was just an amazing place to write from. I did a lot of writing in Macomb because we had a lot of historicals. We have the famous Flatiron building out there, and I wrote a lot about it. It was just an enchanting building for me, and as a visual artist, I also painted it. So I wrote about it, and one of the first little books that I put out as a chapbook was about the Flatiron building called Sentinel. So I did quite a bit of writing locally, and some of it was historically based. I was friends with museum staff, so they would tell me stories about the town, things I didn't know, pioneer days and all that history. And there's quite a bit of history there, so I got into that and writing about that. And then just the idea that Lacombe is kind of a bedroom community, sort of Red Deer at the time before it was a town, and then it's a city, and now it's kind of got its own identity apart from that. But it was deep-seated suburbia, so I was writing a lot of suburban type poetry about living in the suburbs kind of thing. So, and I wrote every day. And that ended up being a book which I have finished, but not yet sent. Well, it's been out once for a look-see in the world of publishing, called Sightseeing. So
okay, interesting. That's really fascinating, especially if you're living in a place that is not a well-known big city, New York or London or something. And learning about that history, that's really fascinating.
When I was in college, it was very much, we were tutored by Ted Dick and Burks Broxton. You've probably heard of them. Burks passed away not too long ago, and very much the entire idea of prairie fiction and prairie writing. Writing that is specific to the prairies and that is describing the life here or the history here. So I got that tag in, and I'm always saying, my first love is science fiction, actually.
Oh yeah.
And when I was in the writing course, I wrote quite a bit of science fiction in that course when I was in high school. But when I got to university, we all shifted into this prairie writing focus. So I became the stereotypical prairie writer. So you write about the landscape and where you live and what life is like and the history of the place. So that's what I got into then.
Yeah. And was that more like, it sounds like your instructors were kind of promoting that idea?
Yeah, they're very much into the whole prairie writing.
Yeah.
Though some of it was quite eclectic, but still, you could tell there's that prairie flavor to it. Like, people would write about curling bonspiels and rodeos and the kind of things that we do here over the summers and every day kind of thing.
Yeah, and that was so that was in university.
Yeah.
And is that after that, like 40-year living life getting in the way,
I was
or?
doing the beat. No, I don't think it's
Not quite that long.
In the middle.
Okay, in the middle. All right, we're in the middle. Okay, yeah, and I guess that's interesting. That would have been one of my questions. So that's great. About I guess. So how was that for you? You're into science fiction, but now you're maybe having to or explore this. Writing about the prairies. Tell me about that.
I think it was, I have to credit the instructors for kind of igniting that little spark about writing about, write what you know, where you live kind of thing. And that's what I did.
Yeah, and how did that kind of like change your writing style, or?
Just sort of kept me focused on more of the prairie thematics, the scenery. I mean, we have so much beautiful scenery. I mean, there's Canmore and Banff and Lake, Sylvan Lake. And
those aren't the prairies; those are the mountains.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
So prairies and the mountains.
Yeah, sure.
But central Alberta and around Alberta, there's so much. So I guess it's almost Albertan writing in many ways. But I don't find it too different than what people are writing in, say, Manitoba or in BC. There might be some differences, but we all have a commonality, I think, there. So we share. It's our beautiful scenery, and it's often becomes the landscape for the writing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, and I mean, I think that's just that makes sense. I think your instructors would have, pushed that.
We're very well traveled across the prairies and into the mountains and all into BC and into the other provinces, Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So.
Yeah. I think we just generally. I'm not sure of every artistic discipline, but maybe want to go off to far off exotic places and write about those or something. But I think maybe writing about the place you live in may not seem exciting, the prairies, but did that maybe like make you look at the prairies a bit differently?
Yeah, it did. I used to roll my eyes and go, "Oh, prairie fiction, prairie writers," because you went to a lot of readings and they described themselves as prairie writers, and it was a lot of it about life on the prairies, and life in a prairie town, and small towns, and small town way they work day to day. So
a little sleepy, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you moved here when you were quite young, but did that change things? Like you coming from England, and then living in the prairies, like versus like if you had grown up here for generations and you had a ranch or something, that maybe change how you looked at this place? Yeah,
I think coming here, I was struck by so much of the wide open spaces that we have here, whereas where I came from, you're kind of in those little cobble streets, and it's all close in, and everybody's very close together, and so on. So just kind of opened it up and got to explore that landscape significantly. So.
Great, yeah. And so so you're in university. You're now a prairie writer, writing about the prairies. Let's say that you graduated, and I guess what came next in your artistic journey?
Well, after a few years break working and raising my daughter and that kind of thing, that's where I was writing a lot of the urban stuff about family. Wrote about cats and my child and my life and that kind of thing, and the lives of others around me, and I had started the B.Ed, but I had not finished it because life intervened again. And so I decided, I could take law, but then I'd be gone for the week, and I had a young daughter. So what could I do here through Red Deer College at the time? And so it was a Bachelor of Education. And then I had been teaching in daycare and doing daycare as well. So I wrote a few children's stories, and while I was doing my B.Ed, I was able to share my writing with students, which I thought was kind of cool. And so when I ended up teaching for a contract, I ended up doing language arts. So I did quite a what they call the humanities in middle school. So social studies and language arts, and really enjoying, sharing my love of writing with the kids.
Yeah, oh, that's great. I mean, you said life intervened, but it sounds like you're still doing lots of writing. And yeah, tell me about that. So you're writing, or you're working with kids and mentoring children. Tell me about that experience.
It's just really great to see the expression on kids' faces when I often improvised a story. Sometimes I brought in stories that I'd written. I didn't have any pictures, so for the younger kids, it was always like, you just close your eyes and listen and imagine the pictures, because they like to see the pictures when you're reading from a book, and just imagine. And then I had classes of all different ages. I had grade 6s draw pictures of what they thought might be in the pages of a children's book that I had written. So that was kind of different and interesting.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're really very engaging, because I imagine, let's say poetry generally, especially for younger people, they may not have as much exposure to that, and maybe it's something they maybe just wouldn't naturally think, I didn't read some poetry. Yeah, so it sounds like you're making it very engaging for the kids. And, and you said you improvised a little bit. So you just be like making it up on the spot.
Sometimes I would make it up on the spot.
And how does that work for you? How do you improvise poetry?
Sometimes you just ask. It's just like any improv. Audience picks a subject, and you write a story about it, and so that's kind of what I did. Sometimes I would look at a kid and go, "Oh, wow, there's a story there," and you could make up a story about a child. Like once a kid came up to me and said that they didn't believe in Santa Claus, and so I wrote a whole story based on this. What happened to this kid after he did this shocking revelation a few days before Christmas? And all the other kids were like, "Oh, what? He's not real."
Uh-oh.
They were all quite upset. Parents were angry. And so that became a story called The Baloney Santa Claus, where he was haunted by the ghost of, because he actually said, "Well, that's baloney."
There we go.
So we woke up and Santa Claus was turned into baloney.
Oh, nice.
Baloney piece that was wearing the hat and had the hands and the suit, but he was actually baloney, and he was kind of tell the child that, look what he did to me, you've got to fix this. And the kids, how can I fix it? And he said, we've got to go back and tell all the kids that you lied. To save Christmas.
Yeah. You want to ruin the ending, but does he turn back to Santa Claus?
He does. Everything ends okay.
I hope so. I don't know.
Kids are all happy again.
Maybe it's not that kind of story. I don't know. Yeah.
I like happy endings.
Good. Yeah. And so because I kind of imagine when you describe that, it's like you're like improvising a story in front of the kids just to talk about it. But it sounds like you're actually like publishing this story eventually.
Yeah, I actually after I love some of the improvisations and make notes and take it home and actually write the story, and then I can bring it back to read it to other classes.
Lovely. Yeah.
All ages. So.
Yeah.
Even for the adults, where there's a level of storytelling, you could read this to your child, but at the same time as you're reading it, you're getting things that are aimed at the adult reader. And so dad or mom, whoever's reading the story, is having a little bit of a chuckle too, because they can get the inside joke, whereas there's still enough material there for the child to follow the story as well and see their end of it. So.
Oh, nice. That's great. Oh, fun. That's some good material you got from those kids. Hopefully, you got some credit for that. Yeah. And then and how long did you teach for?
I did one contract, and then I subbed for the rest of the time. Okay. So I was doing 5 or 6 years subbing at a time when there weren't a lot of contracts out there to be had. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And I guess what would have come next in your poetry journey after teaching or during teaching?
Gathering lots of material while you're teaching about different things, and then started to work in nonprofit and do other jobs and stuff while raising a daughter, and just began to evolve into this. Got into different things where I decided I wanted to perform and write poetry, and I had been in Lacombe and then Blackfalds, and then I came back here and decided I was going to be Red Deer's strolling poet. So did a few venues around town. We did the one July 1st on stage here, and I hope to do some more. I was ill for a while, so that kind of stopped me from getting out and about as much, but it didn't stop me from writing, because everything is a topic.
There we go, yeah.
Whatever happens to you in life can be a topic, and people are afraid because they're like, am I going to be in the book? I'm like, constant fodder. It floods in from everywhere. There's always fodder for writing. All the experiences that I have make people nervous because they figure they might end up in a poem.
Write a poem
or
about
a
this
story.
interview. Yeah. That's great that you're getting inspiration from everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's absolutely everywhere. It's on the street. It's everywhere. And then in November of 2017, I was in Blackfalds, and it was also at the same time that the inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls was going on. In 2016, Gordon Downey passed away. I think that was one of his last shows. And he was very much into truth and reconciliation, and he had the secret path and all of that stuff going on. So I kind of wanted to do something as a writer about truth and reconciliation, as I like to say, truth and reconciliation. So as an ally, I'm not Indigenous at all, except Indigenous to the Picts in Britain, Celts or whatever. But I wanted to do something like Downey did as an artist. And so and then the Kamloops thing happened in 2021, I think it was, where they discovered the residential school children were buried. So that built on what I had already started working on with the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And now that's just gone, it's expanded into Two-Spirit and more. So I researched that there were about 54% of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls were from Western Canada, so right here on the prairies. And so I decided to base a book on that. There had been an artist, a visual artist, who had done a project called the Red Dress Diaries, where they had hung red dresses, and now it's become, as you probably know, a huge thing. And so I called my poetry book The Red Dress Diaries. And the Facebook page is the Red Dress Diaries Poetry Project. I went to a hearing in Edmonton in November at that time, and I took the little chapbook that I had 10. At the time, I had produced 10, and the plan was to do 54, one poem for each percentage of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. So I did that little 10-page chapbook and had it printed myself, and I took it there and displayed it. They had a creative section where you could create a response to the missing and murdered, and now it is in the Museum of Human Rights in Winnipeg as part of the medicine bag that came out of that inquiry.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So, and now it is actually 54 poems long, and I'm trying to get that published.
Yeah, it sounds like a very meaningful project for sure. Yeah. And what was that like for you to write poetry about that topic?
I sat in a room all day for like 8 hours and listened to stories of how families of missing and murdered were affected, and stories of what happened to some of the women. And when you looked around the room, there was this aura of vibration of just tremendous grief and feeling that there was no justice, and there was anger, and there was sorrow, a lot of sadness, and that's what I picked up on. The poems are difficult, some of them quite difficult to read. I wrote a poem about Cindy Gladue, probably have called her name, that was horribly murdered in Edmonton. That is very hard to read. There are poems in that book that I've tried to get recorded by professional voiceover people, and I had one come back and he said, "I can't do this. It's just too hard. It's too brutal. It's too raw." But that's how you have an effect, and that's how you get change, because people get behind and they want this kind of thing to be stopped, so it doesn't happen to anyone else. And that's my idea as well. But I also wanted to allay some of the grief that I felt around me that day from families, because there was so much emotion, and that's what went into the poems. And it's not a pretty story, but it was another way of telling it. And so then after the bodies of the children, then we went into the residential schools and talked about that, and there was a lot of pain there too, and that became something that you started to see everywhere. There were movies made about it. There were lots of stories to be told there, because of what Gordani did as well as others. And so I picked up on that, and some of those poems, a lady bought a book off me. It came out in 21, and said it made her cry, and she bought a little book. And that's the actual first chapbook that I put out locally, was The Little Bones, and I kind of took that title from The Tragically Hip. But the little bones are the ones of the children that are missing and buried, and we don't know who or where they really are. And it's a book that at that point I decided that I wanted to take a portion of the proceeds from the sale of those books and give it to a local charity. And so we had Remembering the Children's Society here in town, and so they are curators of the local Red Deer Industrial School site, and there was several children who died there, and so they're historically about remembering them each year. And so that's where a portion, and we raise some money for them. And now I just kind of want to, because it's the social justice impetus that I have in me, is to get out there, and whatever I write, I want to give to a portion to charity. So it might be a cat rescue, it might be a hospice, or some other local organization that needs some money. And sometimes that imbues the theme of the book. I haven't thought about what these next publications that I'm coming out with are going towards, but it should be something local. Homelessness in Red Deer is getting to be a thing. There's a foundation here. So I have lots of choice of where I could use some proceeds of the book, because I want to pay it forward and give it back. Like, I'm not just writing books for myself. I'm hoping that the book can start conversations, can make changes, or inspire other people to make changes or take action. And there are charities that need those funds so that they can make a difference. And I've been in nonprofit for quite a while, off and on, working in different nonprofits. So it's been something. My second love, besides writing, is to give back to society, because I'm exposing things about society that are not great. And so can we give to some of those organizations that are trying to make things better? I think that's the whole motivation that I have for writing.
Yeah. And I mean, that sounds that's great that you're doing that. You're able to give back to those nonprofits and charities and things. And yeah, I think maybe we'll get into it more in the showcase, but yeah, that makes sense, that, like, especially those difficult topics, that I feel like poetry would be a very good medium to reach people and to make an impactful difference, because it's it's the way you write. And yeah, I'm even though it might be difficult, I'm glad that people are impacted by those pieces. Interesting. I guess. And so another thing that part of your practice I'm not sure where it is on the timeline, but you like to also do readings as well, like perform poetry.
Yep.
You mentioned being the strolling poet, but yeah, tell me about that, about when that kind of started, about actually performing poetry in front of other people.
Yeah, so I'm with the Red Deer Arts Council, so there's opportunities there for me to do readings when they have different kind of events going on, and I've done some readings there, local events, doing some readings, could be invited to schools to do readings. That's something you have to really mark yourself on a bit more. But you have to let people know that you're out there and that you're available. And then I'm thinking this year I want to do some more theater type improvisational stuff with Bullskit here in town, and try and get that going, because you know, my health is in 23 was not good, and so kind of recovering from that in 24, and now feel like I'm at that point. Website is launched, and yeah, to go in and start really doing some active things in the community. First in Red Deer, and maybe traveling a little bit around the prairies. We'll see what happens. So.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Get invited to stuff, or
hook you up with Bullskit. We're talking with them later today, actually. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah. And then I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you said on your website, like you do like rap, like improv rap. Right?
I have done. I've written some rap poems, but I haven't done a lot of improv raps. But I've done some rap poems.
Maybe we'll talk about that in the showcase. Daniel loves rap and poetry, all wrapped together. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So what would that be like? Like especially like improvising poetry, like with say Bullskit. Yeah, what would that experience be like for you to do that like live? Yeah.
I really enjoy performing. Performing is and reading my work is something that I enjoy almost as much as writing it. So I like to get out there and read.
What do you enjoy about performing your poetry?
Just to see how the audience reacts to it. In a live situation, like you can put a book out there, but you may never know what the reader thinks unless they write you a letter or something. Whereas if you read it, you can go around afterwards and people will tell you, what they thought, and that's always good information to have. Yeah, it helps you grow as a performer and as a writer.
Absolutely, yeah. And are you also like reading those like maybe challenging or difficult pieces that might impact people?
Yeah. I chose the impactful pieces, and sometimes it's difficult to get through them. But when you do, I think people realize how important these things are, and that they should be doing something to help. However small or large that is. And because I feel like poetry is, I don't know for sure, but like it's largely read by people, right? Like they read it when they on a page or a screen. Yeah, I guess is that different to like have it in your own voice, like you're coming out as a performer? Yeah. I'm a big fan of Leonard Cohen, and I've watched videos of him, and I'm like, how does he remember his own work? I can memorize other people's work, but I don't. I remember bits of my own work now. Maybe it's just getting older. But I have to have my paper and read it. I can't do what Leonard did. He was reading. I saw a video the other day of him just sort of half singing, half reading a piece. I thought, how does he remember it? Maybe it's because he's performed it so many times that he remembers it. But that's where improv is great, because you don't have to remember anything. You just kind of come up with the top of your head.
Just make it up, yeah.
Make it up as you go along.
There we go. I love it. God,
and
so
then
great.
It's helpful if someone's taping you or recording you, because later you can go back and say, I want to keep that piece and I want to write it down.
There we go.
Yeah.
You can archive it and use it. That's of course.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, right across the street there, we used to have a place where you come once a month and do an open mic, and you could do anything, comedy or poetry. And a lot of people came and read poetry. I was quite surprised how many people came. So, just to read and listen.
Nice, yeah. So other people performing poetry. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we need more of that here in Red Deer. And there's a couple of venues, but we say you can do anything. I haven't been to all of them yet, but I've done a few.
Nice.
So open mics are fair game, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Great place to read your poetry. Yeah, I think we are running short on our time for this segment. I guess I'll just ask the last question we try to ask people is, like how has your writing poetry practice, like how has that influenced your everyday life?
It is my everyday life. It's everything to me, all the experiences, not every single one becomes a poem, but I do draw on that, my life experience every day to write. And sometimes that writing dictates what kind of experiences I have or where I go looking for experience. So, yeah, it's really, I'm living the poetry. I feel like that's what's happening. Even if I'm not writing down every day, it's in here, and so I might scribble a note or two, write about such and such. Maybe I saw something in town, and I did see a homeless lady kind of ejected from Walmart. This is a few years ago now, and I wrote about that. Yeah. So, you never know. Right there's an interesting place to be and see things, and write about that.
Just got to keep your mind open. And
yeah, like I said, everything's a topic, a possible topic, inspiration, fodder, writing fodder.
There we go.
I come back to that all the time because it is. Life is it. Just in general.
Absolutely, yeah. Great. Well, yeah, I think that's all the time we have for this segment. So I've really enjoyed the conversation, learning about your artistic journey. I'm looking forward to hopefully hearing some poetry and during the showcase. So thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thanks.
Yeah. So this has been Tell a Story Hives on location in Red Deer here at Bella Chow's Social Club. I'm Michael. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability, and this is my co-host,
Daniel J. Perryman, local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta, and this has been
Beverley Beckley, the Broken Poet.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to Tell Us Story Hives on location in Red Deer. We are at Bella Chow's Social Club. My name is Daniel J. Perryman. I'm a local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta. And this is my co-host,
Michael Bartz. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability. And this is...
Beverley Beckley, the broken poet.
Yes, I've thoroughly enjoyed the icebreaker segment and the interview that you've done with Michael here today. And yeah, I'm super excited to dive into a showcase of some of your work, a bit more specifically. And yeah, I think where we'll start is just with Red Dress Diaries. And I think before we dive into the subject matter, just because I understand it is a bit heavier, but yeah, so like, if you could just tell us about maybe the artwork and maybe where that came from and just the process of actually getting this published, because I think for maybe emerging poets out there, I think this is kind of like the goal, the dream, and so it's like, how do you make this a reality? Yeah.
I really like that dress because it's quite the plain one. I have a fancier dress that's on the Facebook page. And all kinds of dresses are hung every year on May 5th, which is Red Dress Days, and I always try and get out to read at that. I didn't take that picture though. It's just a found shot because I had to put that together really quickly for to take it to the hearings that I went to in Edmonton back in 2017. So
yeah, and so yeah, you took this with you, right?
I took a copy of that with me, and it is in the Museum of Human Rights, right, in Winnipeg, in part of the medicine bag that came out of the inquiry.
Yeah,
artistic expression is what they called it.
And what was that feeling like to have it in that space and shown there?
It's just quite phenomenal to me, really, that just those 10 poems that are in there, and now that has blossomed into the 54 book format that I'm still trying to get published, and I hope that does happen. But that portion will always be there at the museum. So.
Yeah. Okay. Do you do any sort of like disclaimers, or because I know part of your work is just that idea of just putting the subject matter out there. Do you ever do disclaimers for your work, or do you just present it and?
Not often. The only disclaimer I guess I have is I'm not Indigenous. I come from Britain, and the reason that I started Red Dress Diaries and the other projects came out of that was because I felt a call to reconciliation, which was partially inspired by what Gort Downey did, and then from my attending the hearings in person and hearing these stories personally from the families that were involved, missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And so, yeah, that's the only thing. I want people to know I'm not Indigenous at all.
Yeah.
I feel like it needs to be, I feel like the non-Indigenous population needs to take part. And because we are the colonizers. If nothing else, I am a colonizer. Great Britain, very famous for colonizing places. So.
Yes, absolutely. And just to, again, going to those hearings in person, in your interview with Michael, you had mentioned just like the palpable emotions that were in that room and in that space during that time. Is there anything else that you have to add to that? Just that idea of empathy and maybe its place in your poetry and in your work. Did you have to take time to actually process, or was it like hit you like a brick and you had to write it down?
Yeah, I was taking notes and I was listening, and it just does. It's really powerful. It really does hit you, and I think I would encourage everybody to go and hear people who experienced it, people from families talk about their experience, because it has so much impact. Even just my research, reading news stories about different missing women from the Indigenous community was, some of the details are quite brutal. And I incorporated that into the work as well, because I think it needs to be told that way for it to be most impactful.
And like you say, to perhaps the non-Indigenous population and folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll dive into our first piece here from the Red Dress Diaries. We'll just take a deep breath, I think. So this is number 46. It's called Beyond the Ticking of Clocks. She is gone there. We believe to the timeless world beyond the ticking of clocks. Needless and morally vacant, pathologically beautiful, always in sunshine where twilight never lingers, just glorious sunrise, the forever place, where there are no longer margins and being is lightened. She is there, we believe, although we will never know. We once called her sister, daughter, mother, Cynthia. She is beyond the ticking of clocks, the outreach lands, the stolen landscape, hate, truth, love or bridges as meaninglessness settles down over despair. We are not aware, but the valley is contentment. Interesting. The first thing that I was drawn to is just like that analogy and imagery of the ticking of clocks in this piece. And so I guess I'm just curious, what was your inspiration though for writing this? Was it, the story? Was it Cynthia? Was it something else? Or where do you usually start when you're writing these?
I think I'm a kind of a person who's obsessed with time, and it goes back to my science fiction writing. I'm obsessed with the idea of time travel and so on. And the idea that time heals all wounds, it does not. It certainly doesn't for these families. So the idea of the ticking clocks was the first thing, because when you're sitting in a room with all these people and you're listening to these stories and there's clocks on the wall, you can't really, it gets so quiet when people are telling their stories that you can hear the ticking of clocks. And then I began to think, these missing and murdered are beyond that now. And that was kind of my starting point for that particular piece.
Yeah, and there's something in that about, time as a construct.
It is.
And, my limited understanding of Indigenous culture is that, I don't know, just that time is maybe more of a Western, and just that we compartmentalize and, time so much, and that even like these hearings, what kind of timeline were they on, and just everything has to be kind of compartmentalized into things. And okay, there's so many more thoughts.
Brought that idea of our white Western rules and regulations and ideas and ideals and onto Indigenous people, and that's what we tried to do, was to take the Indigenous out of them and force them into white Western society. And so that taking of clocks perhaps represents that whole thing.
Yeah.
The westernization of
Yeah.
colonization.
Yeah. And then also, like, the phrase that you mentioned, I think is important to harp on a bit here, is just that idea of, time heals all wounds. But that you're kind of subverting that colloquialism, and that in these cases potentially time actually festers in these wounds, and I just thought that was a poignant point to make. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that.
Yeah, the longer the person is missing, or they don't know what happened to them, the worse it is for them. Really, you want to know, you want closure. Eventually. And some may never get it.
Okay. Well, there may be more thoughts that come up for this as we kind of go along, but I'm going to leave that there. I think we have another one that we're going to read, and we're going to pass this off to you. Just tell us what the title is, and at your own time, feel free to read that.
So each of the poems are numbered up to 54, and I selected these to go in the little chapbook. This is 41, The Disappearance, Jennifer C. And it's a particular person that I read about who disappeared and how her family looked for her. We've looked in all the secret places, still no traces found, and 9 years gone. We've cracked open all the sacred skies, sorted through the lies and truth and the just plain don't care, and we found a lot of nothing and no sign of you. Somewhere you're taking the bus to work or buried beneath the dirt. Perhaps the leaves gather like mourners under a sky full of shrouded clouds, or maybe a refuse dump is the place where you lay your head, because you are too tired to hold it up anymore. They said you'd be back, give you a week. They just kicked words in our faces while we were sure someone had thrown dirt over yours. Every day, sweep our broken pieces up and start again with the looking. Our life now, what it used to be, disappeared with you. So in this particular account, the police didn't really want to do much about it. They said, oh, she's just another one of those. She'll show up. She's probably gone out drinking and partying, and she'll show up. And give her a week or so, or whatever. And, so that's where they just give them a whole bunch of words in their faces and didn't really do anything about it. And they were convinced that something had happened to her, because this was unlike her. And at the end of each day, they gather themselves and start to get ready for the next day, where they're going to go looking again, because they're going to keep looking even if no one else is, if no one in authority is looking. And that's what I'm really trying to convey here, is the thoughts that, oh, she's taking the bus to work somewhere. She hasn't communicated with us or contacted us, but she's alive and she's doing her thing. She doesn't want to. But it's always the authorities saying, oh, you know, she'll show up, or she's probably doing this or that. And when in fact they're convinced that no, something's definitely happened. So trying to juxtaposition those two things, of one camp, the family, what they're going through, and what the authorities are telling.
I think the thing that really stood out for me in the story is just that idea of maybe perspective, and, you know, whose shoes are we stepping into, and then, you know, whose perspective is the poem from, maybe? I don't know if you have any thoughts from that you could share, but that's what stood out to me.
It's definitely the perspective of the family. They're looking for their missing loved one. The daughter, the sister, the cousin, big family, so. And they don't believe what they're being told by the authorities. You know, the authorities aren't really giving them hope in any way. They're suggesting that everything's fine, but they're not taking it. They're not believing it, because they know better.
Okay. I'll take a deep breath. I think we'll move along here to another one of your pieces, The Little Bones. And yeah, if you could just tell me a little bit more. We touched on it in your interview with Michael there. But yeah, just a little bit about maybe the artwork, and again, getting it published by the Poetry Press. I don't know what you can share.
I had devised my own imprint called the Pithy Poetry Press. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with that.
Sure.
Might be a different imprint now, but that's the first and only one. The artwork's not mine. It was done by a friend of mine. The details are on the back cover there, or the inside back cover. I saw Pamela's artwork, and I said, that is my cover. Because what she's got represented there is the missing children, the empty swing, the little shoes, they go down into the roots, and the little bones. And so I said, well, if you let me use that for my cover, I'll make sure you get your artwork and your craft advertised. And so we give some credits at the back there for her.
Okay. And what was that process like, collaborating like that with someone?
Well, I mean, I'm an artist too, and that's how we met. And the fact that she's an Indigenous artist as well, so, and who's local here in town. So I thought that would be just a great idea to have her artwork there. The photos inside are my photos, which I took. So I just thought, you know, rather than just put one of my photos up there, and I saw that piece and I thought, that's it. That's it. That represents the entire work in that book.
Mm-hmm. And again, that kind of harps back to that idea of finding inspiration anywhere and being open to it
Yeah.
and just aware of it. So.
And I mean, it's artists helping artists. You know, she gets some advertising in the book for her work in the studio. So.
I think one of the pieces we're going to read from this was called "They Found Us." Did you want to read this, or shall I read it?
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay. And yeah, these were also all fairly short. We can maybe touch on that after. But
I'll explain that.
So this is "They Found Us." For all the years we lay under the feet of deniers, who felt their power was in a policy enacted by followers of faith, who now are forced to realize this is our truth because they found us. Short and to the point. So yeah, what can you tell me about that process of writing shorter pieces?
Well, I always enjoyed a poem by William Carlos Williams. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed in rain beside the white chickens. And that's the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
So it stuck with me, and I wanted to do, because it was a little short book and children are small, and just that whole idea of these little short things, but to make them so impactful in just a few words. That was the challenge, was to write these short pieces and still have a big impact. So a small, short poem with a long, large impact. And that was the goal there. Because they are little poems. They're not very big. But they have had, the finding of them has had a huge impact. And it's hugely important when they were first discovered back then. So.
Well, I know that unfortunately we are kind of close to the end of our time, so we are going to keep this part of the segment short and to the point. And I would be remiss if we didn't touch on your last piece here, which is called Seasonality, right now at least. And yeah, what can you tell me about this piece that's in progress?
Well, this is a totally different book altogether. It's a more lighthearted, witty look at the world, but I'm still taking a little jab at climate change, which once you get through the whole manuscript, you realize that it's kind of making a statement about climate change and is it happening or isn't it happening? And it's from the point of view of the seasons themselves, spring and summer and winter and fall or autumn. Autumn and fall are kind of a two-spirit person, really.
Yeah.
They're
A split personality, I think it says. Yeah.
And so it's personification, and I've taken a witty edge to it, so it's a little bit more lighthearted look at that particular topic.
Awesome.
And it's all short vignettes of pieces about each as it moves through the story of summer and fall and winter and spring and so on.
Yeah. I might just read maybe the first bit of Seasonal Baggage here, just in the interest of time, just to give us a taste of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is from Goodbye Summer. It's called Seasonal Baggage. Summer spies her bags, unpacked and idle in the back of the closet. Surely it was only yesterday she came to stay. Time's face on the wall looks harsh. Summer feels autumn's cool breath on the back of her neck. Winter is driving her home. That is his plan. She can hear his car idling out in the street. Summer lets out a soft sigh. Rising from her green-draped chair, she walks over to her closet and ever so hesitantly reaches in for those bags. Still, she will need time to pack. Yeah, so what can you tell me about that first piece, Seasonal Baggage?
I imagined we went through in the last few years, the last couple of years, and we're going through it again this year, I think, too, this up and down weather pattern where it's winter in the morning and spring in the afternoon and summer in the evening, and you're just so confused. But you know that the seasons should come on time. You get spring, you get summer, you get fall and winter, and that's the order. And how would it be if they were actually people who were coming and going throughout your life? And so I was kind of really hooked on poems about and stories about personification when I was a kid. So I brought all that back and personified all the seasons, and not only just the seasons, but the weather itself, the rain, the snow, the fog, all of the elements that come into play to create our climate. And so that's I've even included a couple of characters from the Environment Canada weather offices who are actual people, but not really. But I made them up. But I had to throw that in there, and it has a surprise ending, which I won't feel.
Yeah, no, that's super fair. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful place to end our segment off on. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and energy today, and for sharing your work with us. We really appreciate it.
And I'm hoping to update my website and let people know what's going on, what's coming out, and when books are available and where they'll be available. Brokenpoet.ca.
Yeah, there we go.
Launching today.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So yes, this has been Tell a Story Hives on location in Red Deer, Alberta. We're at where are we? Sorry.
Bella Chow.
Bella Chow's. Oh my gosh. We're at Bella Chow's Social Club. My name is Daniel J. Perryman, local theatre and filmmaker in Lethbridge, Alberta. This is my co-host, if you can see him, hopefully, maybe not.
I'm Michael. I make environmental podcasts about sustainability and short films and stuff. And this is
Beverley Beckley, the Broken Poet, Red Deer, Alberta.
Thank you so much for watching, folks.